Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss the solution of the problem diagonal sum in binary tree. So let us look at the problem statement. The problem statement says that consider a red line of slope 1 passing between nodes in following diagram. So this is the red line which is passing through the slope. The diagonal sum is in a binary tree is the sum of all nodes lying between these lines. Given a binary tree of size n, print all diagonal sum. So for instance, if you see this, let us say this is the tree which is given to us, then the diagonal sum will be 1 plus 3 plus 5, which is equals to 9. The another diagonal which we have is 2, 4, 6 and 7, and the sum of all these nodes is equals to 19. And similarly, the third diagonal is 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12, and the sum is 42. So given a binary tree, we need to find the diagonal sum. So that's about the problem statement, folks. Now let us discuss the solution of this problem. So in order to discuss the solution of this problem, let us take a tree. So let us say this is the tree which is given to us, and let us now list down the diagonals which we have. So in order to find out the diagonals or list down the diagonals, let us use the red line which is mentioned in the question. So these are the various diagonals which exist in this tree. So let us name these diagonals. So let us say this is my diagonal 1, this is my diagonal 2, and similarly this is my diagonal 3. So now let us go ahead, and for each node also let us go ahead and label all these nodes with the diagonal number it corresponds to. So for instance, this node corresponds to diagonal 1, and let's label it as 1. Similarly, this node also corresponds to diagonal 1, and this node also. These nodes over here corresponds to diagonal number 2. And these nodes, if you see, these nodes corresponds to diagonal number. So now if we go ahead and look at the nodes and the corresponding diagonal numbers, then there is a pattern which we can find out. What is the pattern? So for a given node, and let us say that this is the node which we are at, and the diagonal number for this node is x. So if this is the node, and then we have left and right child of this, so this is my right child and this is my left child. So if the diagonal number of this node is x, then the diagonal number of its right child is also x, whereas the diagonal number of the left child is x plus 1. Right? So if you see this, let us look at some of the nodes in order to solidify this understanding. So this is a node. If you go towards the right of this node, you will see that the diagonal number remains same. Whereas if you go towards the left, you will see that the diagonal number is increasing by 1. So in order to solve this problem, what we are going to do is we are going to iterate on all the nodes of the tree. While iterating, we will go ahead and label the diagonals of it, which is what is the diagonal number corresponding to the current node. Once we have labeled it, we will go ahead and add the node data to the respective diagonal. So what do I mean by this is, let us say this is how we have labeled it. Now what we are going to do is we will have an answer dictionary which will contains the sum of the diagonals. So let us say this is my diagonal number 1, and diagonal number 1, if you see, that has been labeled 1, the node 1, 3 and 5 has been labeled with diagonal number 1. So what we are going to do is we are going to mark this as the value for diagonal number 1 is 1 plus 3 plus 5. Similarly, for diagonal number 2, the entries will be 2 plus 6 plus 4 plus 7. And similarly, for diagonal number 3, the values will be 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12. And towards the end, what we are going to do is we are going to return the values of this dictionary. So let us discuss the pseudocode for this problem. So let us say we want to compute the diagonal sum of a tree, and the tree is given by root. And to begin with, we are going to set the diagonal number as 0. So this is my root of the tree, and the diagonal number for root of the tree is 0. So now let us go ahead and see how we will be able to label each of the node with the right diagonal. So for each node, we are going to go ahead and label the diagonal for it. So if this is an empty tree, then there isn't exist any point of labeling any diagonal, and we will go ahead and return it. So if this is not an empty tree, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and label its left and right child. So please note, we have already labeled this particular node. The label of this, or the diagonal number this root belongs to, is diag number. Or let us go ahead and label the left and right child of this root node. So as we have discussed earlier, that the right child of the node will have the same diagonal. So if we are going towards the right, then the diagonal number remains same. So we are going to say this is diagonal number. Whereas if we are moving towards left, then the diagonal number will increase by 1. So let us go ahead and increase the diagonal number by 1. And in this way, we will be able to label all the nodes with its appropriate diagonal number. Now let us go ahead and compute the diagonal sum. So now what we are going to do is we are going to check the root belongs to which diagonal, and once we have identified that the root belongs to this diagonal, then we are going to go ahead and increase the sum of that diagonal by a root of data. So let us see how we can do it. So with these 4 steps, we have added the root.data to its right diagonal. So we know that a root belongs to a diagonal number. Then we are checking whether the diagonal number already exists in my answer or not. And this answer, by the way, is my global variable, and this is of dictionary type. So this answer is a global variable and the type is a dictionary. Now what we are going to check is the diagonal number it belongs to, whether that diagonal number exists in my answer dictionary or not. If it does not exist in the answer dictionary, then we are going to create an entry for this diagonal and we are going to initialize it with root of data. Otherwise, the diagonal number entry exists in the answer dictionary and we are going to go ahead and increase the diagonal sum by root of data. And in this way, we will be able to label the diagonal and we will also be able to compute the diagonal sum in one pass itself. So that's about the explanation, folks. Now let us go ahead and see how we have implemented this in Python. So the code is pretty much the same. So this is the main function and this is the answer dictionary or the global answer dictionary which we have, and we are computing diagonal sum. And root is the tree which we are passing, and initially the diagonal number is 0. Now we are iterating on all the elements of the tree or all the nodes of the tree, and we are performing the logic which we have discussed, and towards the end we are returning the values of the answer dictionary. So that's about the code, folks. Now let us go ahead and submit our solution. So our solution got accepted. That is all from this video, folks. In case if you have any question or comment regarding this video, please feel free to use the comment section and I'll try to address them. Thank you.